When you write things down, it helps you to realize there are areas that you can improve. It helps you to be able to do that.
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast.
Minisode.
I've been doing a 3-part series. By the way, if you want to belong to or participate in that 3-part series, it is part of the AllStar Team. You can be a part of the AllStar Team by going to theappraisercoach.com and clicking on memberships. We're right in the middle of a 3-part series, and I don't remember the official title, but something to the effect of hacks, tips, and tricks to run a more efficient appraisal business. And we're talking about technology, we're talking about human resources, we're talking about procedures. And I want to talk about procedures today. First, I want to pause here and remind you that we are sponsored by a great company called ANOW. ANOW stands for Appraisers Now. What does that mean? Well, it is now time for you appraisers to sign up for ANOW. It will completely transform the way that you do business. Check it out. Go to anow.com/coach. Again, it's anow.com/coach. Okay, part of this 3-part series. And by the way, every single month in the AllStar Team, we have what we call the monthly meeting with the coach. It's basically a 2-part. It's about 2 hours. It is live. It is interactive. Yes, you can watch the recording or listen to it after the fact, but most people like to be there because it is interactive. The first part is more webinar style, if you will, where I'm teaching some principles and some thoughts. And the second part, after we take a break, is your time to do what we call micro mentoring. And this is your opportunity to ask any question you have, something you might be working on that you need some help. And it's not just the appraiser coach helping you through that process. It's also everyone else in that room, if you will. And I'm using rooms. You can't see me, but I am using air quotations, okay? That room virtually to help you to get through whatever issues that you are dealing with in your office. It's a great time. Right now, we are in the middle of a 3-part series where we're talking about different ideas, tips, tricks. And this came, by the way, I listened to my AllStar Team. They reached out to me, specifically an individual by the name of Angie, and said, hey, Dustin, could you just put together something that just shows us some tips and some tricks and some ideas and hacks and ideas and procedures and things that will help me to be more efficient, more effective in my office? And I said, you bet. And we put it together, and we're in the midst of that right now. By the way, if you missed the first one, which you may by the time this airs, if you missed the first one, you can go back and listen to that. And you don't have to listen to them in series, okay? We're talking about technology in the first one. We're talking about human resources. In the second one, we're talking about the procedures that we should be employing in our appraisal office to be more efficient, more effective at what we do in the third one. And you can start right away and be a part of that. I would hope that you would join us. It's theappraisercoach.com/memberships. Okay, I want to talk today about procedures and specifically about your procedural manual. What procedural manual, you might ask? Well, you need one, folks. You need a procedural manual. Well, Dustin, I'm a single person appraisal office. Why would I need a procedural manual when I know how to do everything? Well, let me tell you. Number one, okay, and this is probably the most important. Number one, writing things out helps you to improve them. Let me repeat that. When you write things down, it helps you to realize there are areas that you can improve. It helps you to be able to do that. Number two, preparing yourself for the future. Well, Dustin, I'm never going to hire somebody. Yeah, you know what? I said that for 12 years. But if you can prepare now, if you need help down the road, it will allow you to be able to do so more efficiently. Now, I teach a principle in this workshop that I referred to here a few minutes ago that I will share with you here. It is a principle that is found in the E-Myth. The E-Myth, of course, is a great book by the author Michael Gerber. It is the quote-unquote Bible of our mastermind group. I read it every single year. I think I've maybe skipped 2 years in the last 10 years, right, that I haven't actually read it during the year. It is something that I actually keep in my car all the time. It is on CD. It is sitting next to me. And if I haven't read it for a couple of months, I'll throw it in just as a great reminder. I cannot read that book enough. It is chock full of awesome ideas that will help you to be more efficient as a real estate appraiser business owner. Okay. Now it's not written to appraisers, but it is written for appraisers, if you know what I mean. You all need it. Okay. All right. So the procedural manual idea comes from the bigger, broader picture of making sure that everything in your office is taken care of by a job title and a job description. Let me give you an example. A job title might be customer service representative. Okay. And the job description for customer service representative might be answering phones, answering emails, scheduling appointments, updating AMCs, dealing with angry customers. And you can expand that as far as you want. By the way, each of those things should have its own procedure. Okay. Now, this is where it starts to filter down. You've got job titles and job descriptions, and within those job descriptions, there are procedures or things that you do. For example, Job title might be customer service representative, sticking with the same idea. Job description might be answering phones. A procedure within the subset of answering phones might be bidding on orders. Okay, teaching someone, and this may be you, by the way, this may be your title and job description currently if you're a single person office, or even if you're not, you may want to retain this for a while. But there is a procedure in your office for bidding reports. When someone calls and says, "Hi, I'm Joan. I just went through a divorce, or I'm going through a divorce, and I need a property, a piece of ground that my husband and I have owned for 10 years, appraised." There is a process to go through to help that individual and to help you to sell to that individual. Okay? Whether you know it or not, there is a procedure. Again, whether you know it or not, there is a procedure. If I were to ask any of you, pull any of you aside and say, "What is your procedure for bidding?" Okay, you may say, "Well, Dustin, I don't have a procedure. I just, fly by the seat of my pants." Well, okay, really? Let's talk through it. Okay. In fact, let's do this. I'm going to pretend to be someone calling, and let's go through the process. You will know exactly what to say. You will know how to answer my questions. You will know how to educate me and help me to know what it is that I need as far as an appraisal goes. That is a procedure. And whether you have it written down or not, you have procedures. Now, I would venture and say you're not really a business owner until you have this procedural manual in place. This is an essential part of being a business owner because it is the first step in allowing you to be able to delegate to others. As you start to realize that the job title and job descriptions of everything that happens in your office, and thus the procedures of everything that happens in your office, belong to you, you start to say, "Hey, why can't I take this same job description that has my name next to it and deliver that to Gertrude, who I'm about to hire?" And the answer is you can. Did you know you also can manage your appraisal office much more efficiently than you are right now? It's called ANOW software, folks. It's the way that I manage every single order that comes through Appraisal Precision. Every single order, every single appraisal gets logged into ANOW. Every single order, every single appraisal has a process, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and so on, that it goes through until final delivery, and we're able to mark that complete button. By the way, all of these analytics are being tracked, so I know how long it takes us to do each of those tasks, and I also know the overall revenue and the overall volume that I'm doing as a business owner. Folks, what could you do as a business owner if you knew your numbers? ANOW will give them to you. ANOW.com is where you go. It's ANOW.com for more information. Welcome back to the program, folks. We're talking about the importance of procedural manuals. I'm just going to share with you a couple of ideas on how you can set up your procedural manual to be most effective. We're going to go through this very quickly. Again, this is a mini-sode. If you want to get a little bit more detail on this, I encourage you to join the AllStar team. And right now, we're in the process of a 3-part series. And one of the parts is talking about procedures and also technology. And these two kind of go hand in hand with both of those episodes, if you will, or those parts of the 3-part series. And we will go into much more detail, but let me just share with you a couple of ideas. My procedural manual is online. I think that is key, especially because I have a virtual office, meaning not everyone that works for me physically shows up at my brick and mortar office. In fact, I have more people that don't than people that do. And thus they need to be able to access that procedural manual from anywhere. Now, it needs to be secured so that not everyone and anyone, including your competition, can get into that procedural manual, but it should be accessible and it should be editable. Okay, meaning even a tier 1 employee can edit my procedural manual. If they see a mistake or see something that can be improved, I don't just allow them, but encourage them to make changes to that procedural manual. Now, the procedural manual basically has 2, maybe 3 parts to each page. Each page is a procedure. So going back to our example that we talked about earlier, bidding is a procedure. One of my procedural manual pages is called Bidding and Appraisal. Okay. And in that, I have a video, I have a checklist, and I have a longer description. Now, I don't always have a longer description. That only is for certain pages. But I always have, I shouldn't say always, most of the time I have at least a video and a checklist. I always have a checklist. Always, 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 always. Great book out there called The Checklist Manifesto. Don't ask me the author. It was a long, hard to pronounce name. But The Checklist Manifesto is a great book if you want to know why checklists work better than full descriptions. But the videos are great for training. Well, Dustin, that sounds complicated. Really? It's not. It takes me really no more time to do a video, maybe a few extra minutes to upload it to YouTube and then turn around and embed it in my procedural manual than I would to do that task anyway. That's the great thing about procedural manuals is they can be accomplished very, very quickly. Folks, again, if you want to join us and learn more about procedural manuals and why it is important for your success, please join me at theappraisercoach.com/memberships for the AllStar Team and join us right now for our great 3-part series on hacks, tips, and tricks for a more efficient appraiser office.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the AllStar Team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.
Please join me at